Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogan Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as I like to call it. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hope you had a good day, good weekend. I've seen some of you, saw some of you in chat over the weekend. Harry Man, Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. What's up, Nikki? Neon Moon, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Emma, welcome. Miss Dill, what's happening, girl? Angel, how are you? Hey, Joe, Uncle Bones, Mr. Lee, good to see you. Still writing that song? Oh, shit. It's kind of an inside joke. Hey, Sharon. Miss Piper. How are you, Sandra? Ellen's Holistic Heaven. Welcome. Good to see you again. Cindy Finn. Who else? All right, I'll get to the bottom of the list and there'll be 5 new names. Ida Bustamante. How are you, hon? Welcome. Mr. Spikes. What's up, Gary? Hey, Gary, you thinking of coming out in July? That's what I heard. I think that'd be cool, man. I'll bring the sewing kit so I can fix your britches. Daily Dan, the good stuff. What's up, Dan? Joe, did I say hi to you? Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. It's too long, dude. Sue, how are you? Welcome. Good day. So what's up, everybody? It's great to see you guys. Nothing new here, really. Just trying to sort out my shit. You know, I have too much crap. You know, I have to throw out or sell or do something with. You know, I think I'm gonna have a little garage sale. Just I have crap I don't need, and I haul that crap around, and just time for it to go. So yeah, guys, if you're new here, if you've never been here before, so why the fascination? What is it that you guys keep coming back for night after night? You know, to all these different channels in this genre of the fringe of, you know, paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs. You know, what's your story? You know, there's got to be a reason that you're fascinated by it. So, you know, I started a channel to get you guys to come on and tell your stories. So if you're new, it's kind of what we're about. And I will be putting the link in chat. So if you want to come on, you can click on the link and just follow the directions. It's real simple. All I ask is that when you do, turn off YouTube in the background so you get bad echo. Also, if you don't want to be on camera, bottom of the screen, you can push stop cam and you don't have to be on camera. It's pretty simple. Lockbeard, what's going on? Hey, Michael Haywood. Welcome. Geez, there were some things I was going to talk about. Oh, yeah. Nikki just sent me a thing from the Forest Service. Right now, there's fire bans. I mean, shit. There's red flag warnings like every day here because of the high winds and the dry humidity, you know, dry conditions and low humidity. There's you can't even smoke in a national forest. You can't smoke usually outside. They're really strict about it. So there's not going to be any campfires right now, but hopefully, the monsoons will come and we will get some, you know, much needed rain, And usually when that happens, they lift any fire bans. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I think that's what the whole thing was about. I couldn't read the whole thing. I was in a hurry. She she said it to me at the last second. Mopar Bill, how are you? Hey, Cheese. Good to see you, Cheese. It's good to see everybody. I know I said that already. Faster Man, what's happening? Hey, Drake. See, some old names I haven't seen in a while. It's good to see him back. Welcome back. Papa Craig, how's it going? You know what? While I'm sitting here babbling, let me put this. All right. So the link is in chat. You guys know how to use it. Anything's on your mind, anything you guys want to talk about, let me know. Throw it in chat. Let's put this in some sort of direction. Ruger Ridge, what's up, buddy? Hey, Kelly. JCL, what's up? See, I tried out that JCL. I tried out that thermal the other day. Just out in the backyard. I was just trying to see how far it would see. It kind of washes out after a little while, but it's pretty cool though. I got to figure out. There's like 10 different color schemes you can use on this little thermal. So I'm gonna experiment with it and see which is like best for certain situations. I mean, I guess it would be a little different in a forest than say in a desert, Brian and Chewy go hiking. How's it going? What's up, Joe?
Oops, sorry.
Wrong show?
I muted myself for a second.
Oh.
I need to.
I'm like, wrong show?
Yeah, wrong show. Whoops. No, man. No. Hey, man, I got my new shirt today.
What is it?
It's
You gotta. There you go. Oh, okay.
Sasquatch and People 2.
Is that Rasta?
Yeah. And then on the back, it's got my logo on the back, but whiny big logo that came today. I got to get one for Jen and a matching mug. I got a matching coffee mug that goes. I didn't get myself a mug, but there is a matching coffee mug that goes with it, and so I'm going to get her a shirt and a mug just because she did the drawing.
Yeah, I need a new mug. Mine broke. Mine's all like missing the handle and it's all like glued back together.
Yeah. So hey, man, look, I want to clear the air, man.
What's up?
I'm not butthurt. I know you said the other day you're like maybe he's butthurt, and I was laughing when I was in the chat, and you were like, "Is he still?" Nikki was like, "Is he still in the chat?" And you were like, "Oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe he's butthurt." I'm not butthurt, man. I still like you, man. Nothing is going to change me from liking you and thinking you're a cool dude and loving your show, man. No matter what happens, if we can have strife, we can have a few moments of friction, we can have misunderstandings, man, and nothing is going to change that, man. We're adults, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And nothing's going to change that, man. Nothing.
But if I say comments like that, it's for a laugh. It's not for, to get a rise out of you.
Well, I did laugh.
Mission
yeah,
complete.
Man. I mean, it's all good. I just, I wanted to be all cool between us, man, because
you're
cool dude, Muggs. I really like you. I respect you.
Right on.
And I love your show, man.
So you and Lee parted ways, I see.
Well, we didn't part ways. We're still friends.
Well, you're not doing the same show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She can't. She's got other stuff that she wants to concentrate on. And I fully understand it, man.
Oh,
I mean, she's got to do what she needs to do for her life, man. And I get it. She's an author first and foremost.
No, I was there, man. I had a co-host for a while, and and I didn't. But yeah, no, they're fun. They're. It's fun to have a co-host, someone you can bounce off of, bounce ideas off of, and you're not, you know how it is to sit out there by yourself, and you're like, oh fuck, what am I going to talk about now? I don't write shit.
Yeah.
I don't take notes. I don't.
Yeah.
I just, say a prayer before I come on, and let's do this.
That's right. Hopefully, I can get through this without saying something stupid. That's what I'm thinking.
No. I say enough stupid shit. Why would I stop?
Yeah, right. Well,
that's what makes me. I don't. I give a fuck, but I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah. I love Lee, and I always will. She's a good woman, and I'm gonna try to support her as much as I can if she does her podcast. She's gonna start a podcast, hopefully.
Right on.
Her own little podcast.
I wish my ex co-host, the best of luck. It's like, do what you got to do, have fun.
Yeah.
Make your mark.
And the reason I canceled the show wasn't anything to do with. I just didn't feel right keeping on doing it, and she was so much a part of that show that I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do it without her. No. And shit, I still got New York Sasquatch Live with Joe and Molly that I'm doing. And I got Joe asks, wait a minute, what? With Jen. So that's enough. And occasionally I'll do a Sasquatch Random Live. But
what I was looking at last night was the fact that there was like nobody on last night. Monday night, and there was like nobody on. Like,
yeah, well,
I was like, what the hell?
Jeff was on, but man, he was having so much problem with his sound.
Oh, really? I must.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to listen to.
Not.
He had a pretty good guest on, but yeah, it was hard to hear him because he was having some kind of sound problems. But yeah.
Can Squatch, Mike's Adventures. I'm getting an echo from you.
From me?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it would be me.
I wonder why.
Hold on. Nope, I'm still getting it. I thought maybe something was on my mic.
Let me see. If I just Are you still getting it?
Check. A little bit. It's weird. I don't think it's my. Let me turn down my. Still getting it. That's weird.
Huh.
Do you guys hear that at all? Or is it just me? Whenever I speak, I hear an echo coming from his side. Whenever I stop speaking, like right now, if I'm talking, I don't hear it. Now it stopped.
Did it stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
Because I was wondering if I'm gonna have to put on my headphones.
Emma said she could hear it, but now Dan said not much.
Okay.
Hey Isaac, how's it going, man? Scotty Waddles. Yeah, so I'm just getting kind of stoked about July.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Got to start figuring out what exactly all I need. Camping supplies and tents, and I just got to put it all in one spot. Just one big pile. Looks like he's getting scalded. Raptor, how's it going? Kaiju Ninja, what's happening? Hey, Stevie, here you are. Feel better, Stevie.
Oh, yeah. I hope you feel better soon, Stevie.
You overdid it. She had a couple days off, and she too much yard work. She probably wore herself out.
Well, I know what that's like. Yeah, man.
Yeah, me too. I crashed like I fell asleep like 10:30. I was out like a rock. Just
Yeah.
I don't remember. Usually I toss and turn and can't get comfortable. Nope. I hit the pillow. That was it. My dogs didn't wake me up, so I slept all the way through to like 6. I was like, whoo.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, work has got me just going crazy, man. 6 days a week, man, 10 hours a day, and it's just
Damn.
driving me nuts, man. It doesn't leave a whole lot. And then the one day I do have off, Mondays, I have to do, like that yard work needs to be done, So, like, man, come on, really? When are you going to leave me time for my hobby? But everything's so damn expensive, Mo.
I know, dude. I realize
gas is up
it's
to
like,
like
what the hell
almost
happened?
$4.50 a gallon here for regular.
Yeah,
And
same here.
and not even just gas, man. I mean, freaking groceries are expensive.
Yep. Eggs went up.
And
Everything went up.
the wife and I, by the time she comes back, she's leaving on Friday, I think. And she is going to be going to Virginia for a friend's wedding. She's going to be gone from like Friday to Monday, probably. And, I mean, I got a lot of stuff to do around here. But, oh, fuck, I just lost my train of thought, bro.
I do it all the time, man. All the time. It just sucks when you're doing it live.
I know. Well, it's because she was on the dog and there just now because she does this digging thing and it's like crazy. It kind of distracted me and I forgot what the hell I was saying. But yeah, I know groceries are expensive, man. And it's like, you're like, what the hell, man? Oh, that's what I was going to say. The smoking, man. By the time she comes back, I told her, I said, that's it, Tuesday, man. By the time you get back on Monday or whatever, no more smoking, man. We could save so much fucking money. We figured out. The two of us.
You might live longer. Who knows?
I mean, I think like incredibly ridiculous amount of money we'd save on smoking. Because cigarettes are expensive too, man. If I buy 2 packs of cigarettes, 1 pack for me, 1 pack for her, that's $25 right there. $25, yeah.
Damn.
So if we quit that, man, there's that much more money.
I went and bought
2
packs the other day. They were cheaper, plus they were 50 cents off per pack. I paid like a little under $16.
I know, but that's still expensive, right? For smokes,
hell yeah,
man. So it's like
suck them
down while I can now because come Monday, man, no more, man.
I should do it now because it's been 5 years since I quit drinking, this past week. I should throw smoking in there too, because
that's one of the hardest things I've ever done, man. When I was young, I was able to quit all kinds of drugs. I
just don't want to turn into a dick.
Right. But yeah, I quit doing all kinds of drugs, man, and I pretty much quit the alcohol. Occasionally, once every 3 months or so, I'll drink a few beers and have a good time with them. But other than that, I was able to give up all. But cigarettes, man, oh my god, they got such a grip on my ass. It's like pitiful.
No, I'm the same way. But the drinking, I had to give up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Well, the older you get, dude, it takes a toll on your body more and more, man.
Oh yeah, no. 35 years of drinking is, you're supposed to treat it like a temple, and I've been treating it like a honky tonk.
Yeah. I like amusement park. Yeah.
Yeah. The fun house. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that stuff takes a toll on you, man. The older you get,
But I feel it. I felt my liver was hurting, and
Well, I have cirrhosis.
I'm due for a liver cleanse because I feel it.
Yeah, I have a cirrhotic. Well, part of my liver is cirrhotic. There's about half of it that still works really well. The other
Hey,
half,
that's-
and but the cirrhosis wasn't really caused by the alcohol. It was caused by hepatitis C, which luckily I was able to get cured of. But still, with that part of my liver that will always be damaged from that.
well,
It's not
if people don't know,
like
cirrhosis is actually a buildup of scar tissue in the liver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because your
for those
cells,
who don't know,
yeah, the liver cells once they get damaged like that, they reproduce, but they don't reproduce in the right shape anymore and stuff, and you get that scarring on your liver, and it cuts down on the effectiveness of what your liver is supposed to do. And
yeah,
you
but
can't live without your liver. I think that's why they call it a liver.
but it does. You can live with part of a liver. I know that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Who else is in here? I just saw Mark Dodman. I don't know if I said hi to him yet. Joey Hayes, what's up? I see Squatch and Cowboy. There he is on the phone. Well, why are you telling us? Just stay on the phone and hop in when you're ready. Wow, there's 73 watching already. Wow.
Wow.
There's
Cool.
nothing going on tonight then.
Oh man, give yourself some credit.
Lord.
People love your show, man.
Why?
Got to give credit where credit is due.
Why? What's so special?
Because you get cool people on there like me and you and
Don't
you know
break your arm,
and
pat
me
yourself
and
on
you.
the back. I keep putting the link in chat. It's up to these guys to whether or not they want to jump on.
Somebody will get in here eventually.
I'm sure. They always do. What did Kaiju just say? Is Joe and Molly going to the camp out?
Man, I wish I could.
And
When you
again,
said
I can't
July-
emphasize this enough. This is me going camping, and I'm saying this is where I'm going. You guys want to come? Show up.
Yeah.
It's not an event. It's in a national forest, dude. I got to cover my ass. I don't want to get in trouble for something stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh no, I wish I could go there, man. I wish I could. So the end of July, right? Is that when you're planning it?
Yeah, July 23rd.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I might get up there and there's no place to camp. It could be, it could be that crowded. It does get crowded up there. But I think I found a spot that would accommodate us as far as the size. I just got to see if I can get up there before anybody claims it.
Yeah.
It's first come, first serve. So,
Yeah.
how much earlier?
Well,
can I get
it's
up
funny. It's like that in the Adirondacks here. There's a spot that I like to go to. Well, it's a whole area, because the Adirondacks is split up into different. Like they have the High Peaks area, and then they have this area over here, and then they have another area over here, and they all have different names in the Adirondacks. And I like to go to this place called Moose River Plains. And I think they actually call it Moose River Plains Wild Forest. Within the Adirondacks, and it's remote, man. And it's like that, like you said, it's first come, first serve. It's remote camping. You usually don't. I mean, you're not going to have anybody right next to you camping. But the thing is, even though it's so remote, man, there are times where even those places it gets busy, and there's a lot of people there.
Well, this place isn't so remote that it's inaccessible. It's just getting. It's rough getting to it, but you can get to it. But I would
same way with that place.
Vehicle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Place I go to, you're going to want to at least have a truck, man, or something, or a 4-wheel drive, because the roads are pretty rough getting up in there. But you can, plenty of people get up in there. And I think I said, I don't know if it was on your show here. I seen a guy in this little tiny sport car, man. And I don't know how in the hell he got to the point he got to on the road. But as he was going down it, man, I was like, how did he get here? And dude, he's gonna tear the bottom out of that car by the time he gets to the end. So,
Scotty,
Hey, now.
Scotty,
how's it going?
Very good. Glad to be here with you guys.
Well, welcome.
Awesome.
Glad to have
Right
you.
on.
Yeah, I've seen some people do some stupid things in cars and off road. You know, where it's like, what? How? And it is. It's like, how did this vehicle get here?
Yeah.
You know, you had trouble getting there in 4-wheel drive, and yet this car is sitting here. You know.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Scotty?
I'm getting better, doing better.
Very good.
Yeah.
What was wrong, man?
I was run over by a truck like 6 years
man.
ago. Yeah, and just like been recovering since then, but I had a bunch of my teeth fixed, my molars and my teeth, and I had a huge infection the last time I was on air with you guys. I had like 6 teeth pulled out of my head that were infected from the accident like 6 years ago. And I'm just so fortunate to be walking now. I was in a wheelchair and they did a triple hernia surgery on me, and I'm just so fortunate to be actually right now like next level, like healing
Where
actually.
you're at.
Yeah, so I'm just really excited to get back into the world. I haven't driven in 6 years. I haven't driven a vehicle or a car. I mean, I drove a truck. I drove all sorts of things when I was driving, and then I haven't driven in 6 years. So it's kind of weird not driving. You feel like, you're just like, you just don't feel regular when you're not driving. I've driven since I was 17, and then not to drive the last 6 years to be injured and recovering. It's been really rough, but I'm so glad. I listen to you guys every week, and it's a great show, and I love you guys so much, and it's just been amazing to be part of this. I know I was on air like about 6 weeks ago, and I talked a lot of crazy shit, but it's just I'm a crazy guy, and I've been through a lot of paranormal. I've been through a lot of crazy shit. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, and I've questioned it myself so much, but it keeps coming back where I keep seeing crazy stuff over and over, and it's magical. So I just wanted to say, hey.
Well, I'm glad you're on the mend, dude. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really
man.
good to see someone. What's the word? Recover, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you're healing, man. That's good.
to be able to walk again,
Yeah, well, I'm 6'1" and I'm real tall, and for me to be in a wheelchair was so horrible because
I'll bet.
wheelchairs aren't made for people 6'1" and taller. It's made
No.
for people 5'5". And I was in a wheelchair that was made for somebody 5'5", and it was so hard for me to get in and out every day, to go to the bathroom, and just to function regularly in that wheelchair in the nursing home, because a nursing home is like for old people, and I wasn't old, but I was definitely injured to where my family couldn't take care of me. But now I'm so grateful to be out of that,
No doubt.
and to just look back at my life and look back at the things that have kind of made me who I am. And a lot of it is paranormal stuff. It's a lot of seeing crazy creatures, crazy things, UFOs, and all sorts of stuff. And it's like, if I go outside and I don't concentrate on it, it won't happen. But if I do concentrate, it will happen. And
Yeah.
if you think about it, it will happen. And that's the crazy thing that everybody is saying along the board here with these paranormal experiences, whether they're, life or death, whether you're talking to the dead, or whether you're a paranormal where you're talking to Bigfoot, or you're just experiencing things out in the woods. this whole thing has been such an amazing experience for people that are involved in it because we all have the same kind of rapport. I went through the same things that a lot of people have, and it's hard to justify what kind of creature could be out there in the woods that looks like a man but is so fucking huge. I mean, yes, there is, and I seen this when I was out in the woods. I seen this fucking huge creature, man. It was so big and so unbelievable, and it was mind speak. And I never thought I would go through that, but when you're in pain and you're out in the woods and you're seeking something, well, you're going to find it. You're going to find what you're seeking, and it's just all what you're in tuned with. And I was in tune with, Bigfoot and gargoyles and crazy creatures, and I've seen, fairies. I've seen the fairies where they show up kind of like lightning bugs, or they show up like dragonflies, but when you see them, they have this horse face look. They have like a horse face. And I see a lot of fairies more than anything. I see a lot of these little people, and I'm just not sure if that's like out of the corner of my eye, if I'm just seeing things or if it's real. I've seen these little people for 20 years now, and I'm telling you, they're everywhere, and I'm not sure what to make of it because you never see them straight on. You never see them straight on. You always see them out the corner of your eye, and it's just interesting to.
Well, how do you know what you're seeing if you're not really seeing it?
You don't know. You don't know. Do you?
Yeah.
You don't
But
know.
you know what though? I mean, I think there's we'll get no argument by saying, at least I won't argue with somebody when they say there's a lot of weird shit in the world. I will not argue that, man. Definitely not. Because everybody experiences weird shit, man. Even me. I experienced a lot of weird shit in my life. Some of it I was able to explain.
Weird.
Other shit I can't explain.
But I think like it's attracted.
That's very big. That orb, and I shouldn't say those orbs because the one that I remember is the one that me and Molly both saw. I still don't know what the hell that was.
Wow.
I still don't know what the hell it was.
I saw orbs when I was in the cemetery.
For it, but I don't know what it is.
I saw the orbs when I was in the cemetery, and they were following like. The funny thing is there was like 10 orbs, and they were following like a roller coaster. They were going through the trees, and they were going through the ground and back through the trees and back through the ground, and it was like they were repeating
a pattern.
Yeah, they were repeating a pattern, but when the orbs were lit, they didn't light up anything around them.
No,
they kept their light to themselves. And that's the weird thing. The lights were going through the trees and going through the cemetery on the floor, but they weren't lighting up anything around it. The lights were keeping to themselves. And I was like, it was dark. And
what color were the lights?
They were like yellow and blue. They were yellow and blue, like really faint, not bright colors, but faint, like pastels. But they followed this pattern, and I watched them, and I'm like, this is weird because, they're not lighting up the trees and shit around them. It's like they were round, perfect orbs, like balls, like, balls of
Oh,
light,
I've seen orbs.
three-dimensional, you know what I mean? And I've never seen that before, but the one time I seen it was in the cemetery, and it's when I was when it was raining and I was under a lot of distress, and I walked up to the cemetery, which off of Harlem Avenue, and you could see across the street, you could see these orbs, and they were going like just in this one space. It was really weird. And like they were, you know, round little orbs like softball size or baseball, but they didn't do anything but just go in this pattern. It was so weird. It's like, what, like, why are these lights, going right here and just going like in a circle, like up and down, up and down, up in the trees, down, up in the trees, down. And I'm like, what is this? Some kind of, but then I was like, whoa, well, if it's a cemetery, maybe it's something with death and with people that have just died and they're exiting the world, but their bodies are right here. And maybe they're, you know what I mean? Just circling their body. I don't know. I'm just saying it was weird,
Raptor says, I apologize. I didn't know this was a UFO channel too. It's an anything channel, dude. Whatever you want it to be.
Man. Look,
It's
UFOs, speaking of which, man.
Yeah, we haven't talked fishing in a while.
I'm always one of those. Yeah, fishing too. Yeah. I'm always one of those people that I'm like, seeing is believing, right? But I'll tell you what, there's a little difference between that and for me when it comes to UFOs, because I personally have never looked up and seen a UFO in the sky. I probably should look up more, but I've never actually seen one personally myself. But I'm absolutely sure UFOs are out there. Why? Because I've seen just too many freaking videos that aren't doctored videos. They're actual videos, man, of UFOs, man.
I know too many people that have seen them.
Believe they exist when there's so many people videotaping these things in the sky, man.
Yeah, we have them in Chicago here. All 3 times I've seen, flying saucers or whatever you want to say was in Illinois, and it was right here, and they were mostly orbs, but they weren't light orbs. They were like silver egg-shaped orbs in the sky just sitting there. Like the 2 times that I seen UFOs, they were like egg-shaped silver orbs just hanging in the sky. But then the 3rd one I seen was a totally different craft, and it had people inside and they were looking at us. And so, it's like people see the orbs, but then there are the ones where there's creatures that look at you from these ships, and I've seen that. And that's, I think, our government. I think it's our government with vehicles that they've progressed, and they don't want to show anybody, but they're vehicles that are silent and that hover above the trees. And I really believe that that's our government. The last one I saw.
I think some UFOs.
I don't think it's all.
Yeah, I think some UFOs could definitely be like secret projects that the government's working on.
Yeah.
I don't think all of them are. Some of them,
probably a lot of the triangles.
No, not all of them. No, not all of them. What I've seen, not all of them. It seems like we know that there's creatures out there, that there's something crazy out there, and we're involved with it, but we don't. I don't think that the government is 100% in tune with all these things going on. I think there's a lot of stuff going on that's just not, that's just weird. It's just weird.
I mean, for example, the stealth fighter, when they started making those, man, people did actually mistake those for UFOs at first. Well, they were UFOs because people didn't know what they were looking at.
Right.
You know, it was a totally different type of airplane. It didn't look like anything else. You know,
didn't sound like anything else. Yeah, it didn't sound like.
But you can't tell me that. Well, you can tell me, and I would have to accept it. But out of all the UFOs that everybody sees, some of them are probably secret government things, but there's got to be some of them, man, that are from somewhere else in the universe. There has to be.
Yeah, because it's not from here. This shit's not from here. What I seen, you know, I live by O'Hare Airport. I watch airplanes and helicopters every day. And what I seen, those UFOs, they were magical, and they were quiet, and they were amazing, and they stopped on a dime, and it was just technology that we don't have. And so you have to wonder, is our government privy to it and is trying to keep it, on the down low? But because there's so many of them and so many sightings, I think at this point the government's just backed off, because I don't hear much from them the last couple of years, but there's still a lot going on in the sky. It's not as much crafts as there are like colors and weird clouds, and everything in the sky has changed from like orbs and UFOs to more crazy sky features. And I watch all the time these sky features that people are recording all over the world that are purple and yellow and just crazy stuff going on in the sky. And it's like, either our world is changing in a way that's fantastical, or governments are messing with our sky.
I think it's a little of both.
Either way, I don't know, but it's
the government's they'll throw us, a treat now and then as far as like disclosure and shit. They really never said anything.
Not for a while. They haven't really disclosed anything in years, since kind of that soft, back in 2008, 2010, they kind of had a soft, we see things in the sky, but they never really came, they left us on our own with these things. And our government is not backing us up, because a lot of people are freaked out from these things. I'm freaked out, and a lot of people are freaked out, and our government's not coming to our aid and saying, hey, they're just basically ignoring us. And that tells you that there's something more.
What are you freaked out about? What are you worried about?
I'm worried about what's up in the sky. What's up in the sky above our heads? What's going on? What
is there anything you can do about it? Why worry about it? No. I get it though. I mean,
I don't worry.
I know there's shit up there.
You got children, you got families, you could just ignore all that and say, oh, nothing's ever going to happen. But when you see so many things in the sky, you're like, holy crap, what does this mean? And that's my point with all this, is what does it mean?
I do not think.
What does it mean?
I don't think the American people are worried about what's flying around in the goddamn sky right now, Scotty.
Right. I get it. I get that. Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely.
Well, I just don't think it's worth worrying about.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not worth it.
When shit like unfolds like, Independence Day, then you could be, you can worry about it. But
it's a curiosity, though. It's a curiosity that even if I'm not worried, I'm still like, okay, we're on a piece of Earth here, and they claim that there's other worlds outside of our world. I mean, that's crazy. Just in that there's other worlds and there's other beings that aren't humans. That's crazy. And
Why?
for us, and I think it's amazing that we're part of this. I think it's amazing that people have seen this over.
I think with all the desensitization that we've gone through as far as like Aliens or Star Wars
COVID,
or
everything, right?
all these other
Everything we've
movies,
gone
that
through,
it's just part of our, you know,
our genre.
yeah,
Yeah,
our being. I mean, our
right.
generation. You know, it's we've
Yeah,
dealt with
and I
all this,
agree
so it's
with
part
that.
of our.
It is a song of our times. It's like paranormal stuff. If you're not into it, you'll never see it.
But
A lot of people don't ever see it, don't listen to nothing. They don't listen to paranormal stuff. They don't have any kind of, they just go about their lives normal and they never see anything weird. And for them, I sound crazy. I sound like a crazy person, but I'm not a crazy person because I've saw these things so many times and dealt with them with witnesses next to me so many times that I'm confident to say that I'm not crazy. And you guys aren't crazy. None of us are crazy for what we've
Well,
seen.
I might be a little crazy. I might be a little crazy.
So if I could just
Oh,
change
go
the
ahead.
subject real quick, I want to talk to Jay.
Yeah.
So Jay, you went to Kentucky, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a good trip?
Yeah, I'll be back.
I had a good trip.
Okay, and
I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. Okay.
well, what was the purpose of your trip?
I went back to where I had my sighting at,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I wanted to get this out of my system.
No
Okay.
shit.
So I went. I flew up Thursday morning. Went, got with my son, and we talked about how we was going to plan everything and maybe what kind of I'm
You're all right.
Gets you. Yeah, it gets you a little.
Take your
Yeah.
time, Jay.
That's okay, bud.
We got time.
It gets me too.
I'll get right back with you. Okay.
All right, man.
Yeah. No, but I know what he's talking about because
Well,
when you return, when you return to the place where you've seen something crazy, it does have a residual like energy there. And you do feel it. You do.
well, and it's that, and it's the memory of it. It's you're gonna you might relive that feeling of where it happened. I mean, yeah, it's gonna take its toll.
I didn't have anything evil or I didn't have anything angry or I didn't have anything aggressive happen to me. So I'm like I had the best Bigfoot and paranormal. I've never been scared from the paranormal things that I've seen. So I've been very fortunate.
No, I've been fortunate too. I got scared
but a
once,
lot
and
of
I didn't even
but a
see it.
lot
I
of
felt it.
people have been scared from it. A lot of people have been scared for their lives from it, and I get it because
Right.
when you're next to these creatures, they're huge and they have like an energy with them. They have an energy that's not like human. They have an energy that's like not an animal. And I've been like 3 times I've been close to a Bigfoot to know that the energy from them, it's not a natural. So,
Right.
it's some kind of, higher being than we are, some kind of crazy being that chose to be out in the wild instead of technology and living in houses and beds, and they chose to be in the wild and they went the other way and we went one way and I believe they went the other way. I believe they're people and they chose somehow. It's crazy, but they chose to be in the wild somehow. I don't know.
Well, that's who they are. But hold that thought. I want to get back to Jay because I really want to hear what he has to say. All right. Sorry, Scotty. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
And I
it's
do
cool.
agree. They are people. I
I'm
think.
better. I'm okay now. Okay. I just,
Take your time.
all right, here's what happened. We got together and what we was going to do the next day about what if happened. What if somebody didn't want us to go back on that land again, you know? But luckily, we got there about 8:00 in the morning, and our old home place, the lady that owned it was the sister of my first girlfriend. Can you believe that? And we sat there and talked, and not about what I was going to do, but
Sure.
about just old times and about the old home place and stuff like that.
Reminiscing.
And her husband was getting ready to leave for work right when we drove up, and I introduced myself to him. He didn't know me, of course, but I knew the sister of Bobby Bolin, my first girlfriend. And the only thing I asked him, my son kind of walked away and was talking to Bobby. I mean, the sister, her name was Gail. And the only thing I talked about how nice the old place looked and stuff like that. And I said, "Do you ever have any crazy?" I just laughing. I didn't want to put on anything about anything. I said, "You ever have any crazy crap going on around here?" And I was just laughing. I said, "You know, we used to have some crazy stuff going on." I was kind of feeding him, you know.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
he says, "Oh yeah, at night or once in a while we'd be sitting." They had built a beautiful porch went all the way around the house, and it was beautiful. I mean, and she says, "Yeah, we'd be sitting down on the porch at night, and we'll hear the crazy ass screams every once in a while." And he says, "Damn coyotes go crazy," and I didn't go no farther with it, you know. I just
Sure.
okay. And
No confirmation.
no, I didn't want to.
You're like, yeah,
confirmation.
coyotes. You're like, yeah,
Right.
coyotes. They were coyotes. Yeah, they're coyotes.
Coyotes,
Yeah, coyotes.
So I told her, I said, "Bobby, I want to wander up in the woods to my favorite old hunting grounds." I mean, I call her Bobby, but this girl was named Gail. I keep calling her about. I thought, "Gail, I'm gonna wander up in. If you don't mind, I park my car over here out of the way." She's, "Oh no, go ahead." And I said, "Who owns that new house up there?" And there used to be a big bean field. And she said it was her name was Peepoo. Well, I used to know some Peepoos. So I stopped by their place, knocked on the door to I figured they might own all that property now, but nobody came to the door. So I guess they'd already gone to work. So there was no trespassing signs on anywhere. So we wandered on up into it's about a mile and a half up to get to where my old woods were. And I'll have to say, the closer I got, the more apprehensive I got, you know. And
Sure.
Wow. Like nervous,
the son. I had my son. A lot of the people in here wanted me to film it, so he turned the camera on and was filming us going in and everything. We got in there, and it's about probably 700 or 800 yards into the woods to where a trail we used to go on, that old stump I told you about, that big old gumball tree still standing there.
Wow.
And the old stump I sat on was still there, but you're talking about 50 some years ago. It had rotted away a lot, but it was still there. Part of it was still there.
Wow. And
I went over and I said, "Son, I just got to do this." And I said, that's where I saw him at right there. And I said, "I'm gonna go over and sit on that stump, and I'm gonna try to recall all this, exactly what happened." Sorry.
Yeah.
I went over and sat on that stump. And when I sat down, I got the coldest goddamn shiver go through me. Oh my God, man.
Right.
I told him, I said, turn that camera off and turn it off right now. I said,
Jeez.
I don't want to see these people see me goddamn break down here, you know. And I did. I broke down crying like a friggin' baby, and I admit that right here. I was crying like a baby.
No, that's okay.
How'd you feel afterwards?
That's okay, Jay.
But I think that helped me more than anything. Is I got that out of me, and I got it. I straightened myself up, and I said, "It's over, son. Let's walk on through the woods. I want to walk on there where the old creek bed was, where we shot our heads. I said, I want to wander these goddamn woods just like I was when I was a kid, you know." So we walked around those woods probably 3 or 4 hours. I mean, we were just
fantastic.
It was just like I was a child again. I was, you know, and the only
every
thing
stump, every pile of leaves, every little, you know, crevice, everything is a magical experience at that point. I get it, man. I get it. It's amazing.
Go ahead, Jay.
And the only thing about it was that ridge we was on, it went downhill toward the creek bottom. Only thing about it, that son bitch was steep going back up that hill. That was hard. Just climbing that damn ridge back, you know.
You get to the bottom, you turn around, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. I'm not, you know, 17, 18-year-old like I used to be. But I made it, you know, but I put the finalization on it right here. I was talking to Stevie last night on the telephone about it. I went out of those woods, and when I got out of those woods, I turned around and I shot them damn woods a bird, and I said, my God, I won. I pointed at them woods. I said, I won this thing, you know.
Right on.
And to me, it was a relief. It was after I'll have to admit, folks, I mean, I did. I broke down and cried like a little baby. It brought back so much feeling in me.
But
I'm not scared of anything, you know. It just
right,
you know. And
you carried that story with you for 50 years, man. And you know, it was only recently that he told his story, you know. And now to
you're not alone, Jay. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah,
you're not alone. You're not alone.
I want to say one thing. I would never have done this if it wasn't for these people. You, Moggs, you, Joe, Scotty, and everybody.
Man, you're not alone, Jay. You're not alone.
Everybody that I have befriended in these chats, I would have never gotten this far. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to thank.
I'm glad we could help
every one of you in the bottom of my heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
Look, there ain't no shame in your game, Jay.
Not at all.
I will admit it, man. Every single time that I go out to the area where I saw this dude right here that's on my shirt, man. Every single time I go out there camping, I really kind of make myself do it. I get nervous and all kinds of shit when I'm out there, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. I know I'm supposed to be the big investigator, Sasquatch investigator, blah, 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 this and that.
Right.
But look, this is a hobby to me, man. It's always been a hobby for the last 44 years. And when you see something that's 7.5 foot tall, almost 8 foot tall, hairy, big as shit, it's going to scare you. I don't give a crap who you are. And I get nervous, man. So there ain't no shame in your game, man. You experience what I experience all the time when I go out there. I mean, I don't cry, but unless I hear something. Unless I hear something, then I do.
That's why you go out there.
But I'm glad, man. If that gave you some closure, man, that is awesome.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I will have to admit that.
Yeah,
a lot better.
That is awesome.
So happy for you, Jay. Really, that's amazing.
And I wouldn't have done it.
Some people just, you know, they have an encounter and it hits them so deep in their psyche. To me, I had seen so many things so many times in my life. It didn't hit me as deep. I almost joked about it, when I was seeing it, because I've seen so many different things, but it doesn't dismiss the feeling that you have when these things happen. It's a feeling that is unlike anything you've ever had in your life, and it's almost, I was talked to from the entity. I was talked to, and it was the weirdest thing for me as I was talked to, in the words that I could hear from the Bigfoot. That's all I could say.
Well,
and I was told to leave. I was told to leave because, I was just told to leave because I was on their property.
I didn't.
It's simple.
I gotta explain one thing now. I didn't break down crying in fear of what I saw. I broke down crying because I gave that son of a bitch 55 years of my life.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's
My
different.
question is, Jay, though, is how do you feel nowadays when you eat pork or ham? Can you still do that?
I have no problem. Let me tell you. None at all.
Where the hell that came from?
None at all.
Where that came from? Because that damn big ass hairy mofo that he saw was chasing some pigs, man.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
I love
Bacon's bacon.
I love pork, so I can see why he's chasing them. I can tell you that.
Right?
Wild boar.
He was trying to get him some bacon, man.
Hell yeah. Some field bacon.
Hey, I'll bet you even
Yeah, Jay,
Sasquatch.
I am thrilled that you shared that with us. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for asking me.
I had one other person that had shared their encounter here, shared the stories here, and then finally got back into the woods, and
Yeah.
it was cool to hear the story, of him. And it was any woods. It didn't have to be the woods that he had his experience in, but he just stayed away from woods completely. And then finally, not that long ago, he finally got back into the woods.
Yeah. I hope you've inspired some other people, Jay, that have done, because some people it's like that. It's like they're like, I'm not going back in the woods anymore. So I'm hoping that maybe hearing what you just told us, if there's anybody out there that's had an experience that really traumatized them that much to where they had to stop enjoying going out in the woods, maybe you've helped them out now and shown them that, hey man, you can go back out in the woods.
And it's funny because that's one of the first things I said to my ex-roommate when he called me and told me he just saw Bigfoot, or he saw two of them. During the conversation, I said to him, I said, dude, don't let this define you. Right. Okay? Don't let this keep you out of the woods. You've been interested in these things for 10 years. You've been out in the woods, never saw anything. Or he goes, well, I don't think I really believed in them. I said, well, now they're there. But you assumed they were there before, or you just a romantic thought or whatever, but you were out there looking for them.
Right.
So now that don't let it keep you out of the woods. You were in the woods how long, and then once you see one,
you just have to go with the partner now. You just have to go with somebody else. Never go in the woods alone.
Well, he was with somebody. They were fishing.
As long as.
But it was
with
like,
somebody,
just don't let it change you. Don't let it keep you out of the woods.
That's I think that's the reason people don't understand that 1966 we didn't know what a Bigfoot was. That's
never the year I was born. 1966 I was born in November.
We never heard of stuff like that.
Of course not.
And the shock of something seeing that damn thing in front of me, that was what was the shock. That thing was not supposed to be there,
Yeah.
Now, let's turn it around. If let's say I was 40 or 50 or 60 and had been educated on this, I'm sure it might not have shocked me so bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you would know what you were looking at.
that's right. I didn't know
Right.
what the hell I was
So
looking
yeah, right. So that part of the
You'd still shit
circumstance.
yourself, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, back
I
in
mean, I
19
admit
no,
that.
back in 1966, there was no, the only thing was the Patterson Gimlin film.
that
no,
didn't
that
come
didn't
out
come
until the
till
next year.
67.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't even
67.
out yet. See,
That
there
was in
you
October
go.
of 67 that was shot.
You know, you were on virgin territory, man. I give you the credit to come on the show today because that's amazing. Because I learned about Bigfoot with a lot of other people. There was a lot of people around me and a lot of people in groups, and I was in, you know, I was listening to Wes on you know, Bigfoot, whatever
Sasquatch
that
Chronicles.
show. Yeah, Sasquatch Chronicles. And I was listening to all those. And so I had a soft, you know, bringing it. Maybe you guys didn't. You know what I mean? Back then in 1966, there was nobody to comfort you and be like, wait a minute, we've seen that and you're not crazy. I get it because when I was seeing it, when I was looking at it, I'm like, holy crap, I'm crazy. This is crazy. I told myself out loud, this is crazy. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. This is insane. And what the hell is that? But I had people to help me after that right away. And if you've seen that and didn't have that, I could understand how crazy that would make you feel. I'm sorry.
I want to tell everybody there's a show on, and I just happened to be looking at it the other day. It's called Hell Bent Holler. Hell Bent Holler, HOLLER. And their dog man, they got two. I don't do the dog man thing, you know that, but they were doing a thing on the LBL dog man thing, and where that happened at is down around Sugar Bay, around Kentucky Lake. And I used to bird hunt those things. And some of their photography is where I used to hunt at a lot. If you want to see the place, kind of go in there and watch their thing on the LBL part 1 and 2, and you'll see kind of where that I used to live at, the area and stuff I've been telling all these people about.
Wow.
I used to hunt exactly in that area.
Yeah.
Kind of gives credence to what they're saying then. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. But it'll kind of show people what I used to hunt and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you, Jay, I used to have no problems. I loved going out by, you know, if I couldn't find anybody to go camping with, I'll go camp by myself. You know, take the dog. No problem. Not afraid. Not afraid to be out there alone. I'm still not really super afraid to be out there by myself with the dog. But I'll tell you what, after August of 2020, I'm a little more reluctant. I'd rather have somebody with me, like Molly or, you know, Mike from Tactical Bigfoot Research or somebody, you know.
Well, more happens when you're alone. More happens when you're alone. So when you're alone, a lot more happens. When you're with somebody, less happens.
Well,
that's just a fact.
I've also found out, though, that when I'm alone, I can also freak myself out a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're sitting alone, listening to these crazy screams that I've heard those crazy screams where you're like, okay, coyotes, and you know, you go through all that, you're like, no way. It's like the lung capacity on this creature that's screaming is so amazing. And you're like, okay, maybe it's just, you know, you just write it off. I mean, I heard the screaming, it's just unbelievable. And you're like, but then you never hear it again. You know, you never hear it when the animals are around. It's only when everything goes silent and then you hear this crazy screaming. It's just not, you know, it's never normal. It's never like, oh, that's just an animal. You're like, holy crap, that's not a person. You're like, the lung capacity on this son of a bitch and it's reverbing in my chest. You're like, and where is this thing? And you're like, holy fuck, this thing could be, 100 yards away, and it's still bouncing off of my chest, reverbing, and like some crazy fucking loud ass creature. It's like, well, what could do that? What could do that in our world? And you're like, and you just start the, process of elimination.
Well,
what could scream so loud that it bounces off your chest and acts like fucking, like it's hitting you? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know much that could do that.
When it happens, you don't know what's going on. Now you look back on it and you've learned a little, But yeah, I'm sure at the time it'll freak you out. What was that, Jay? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I played a good trick on Stevie B yesterday. I got to tell you about it. She called. I've been wanting to talk to her about what we're going to do and our plans about coming out there and to the thing mugs. And I said, call me. I gave her my phone number and called me. Well, damn it, she didn't call me on Messenger with her, and I'm sitting on the goddamn throne. She called me.
This when you're at the airport?
Yeah, and I told her I was at the airport, and I kept putting my hand over the phone.
Talking to Stevie,
Yeah, but I was sitting on the goddamn throne. That was you.
But where the hell did you find a chair in the airport that looked like the one you're sitting in?
Well, I initially was sitting here, but boy, a pain hit me right when she called, and I went on there and I was talking to her on the throne. Woo!
Well, at least it wasn't a video call.
No, really.
It was a video call.
Oh, damn.
That's what I'm talking about. It was a video
I
call.
would have left the phone in the other room.
I wanted to talk to her, though.
Hey, Mid-South.
I've been trying to get a hold of her, but we need to coordinate what we're going to do, And
hey, Richie, if you're still in chat, you got to ask Dawn if she'll let you come out and play in July, dude. If you want to come out, Jay's going, Stevie's going. They're going to drive out. So if you want in, figure it out. Love to see you. Sorry.
no,
Figure I'd put it out there.
I thought that was funny. I had her going.
Yeah, Lockbeard said, if someone is with you, what are they going to do? Help you scream? And I'm like, hey, dude, no. But as long as I can outrun at least one of them. At least one of them. There's more than me. There's more targets to concentrate on if something wants to go down. As long as I can run faster.
Somebody in chat's got food. It's probably cake. And nice. Mr. Lee wants to see them eat it. You're a weird duck, Mr. Lee. Oh, what? Yeah. I don't remember what show it was on. They had cake and they wouldn't eat it. So it was the next show that I did was like maybe an hour later. I stopped and grabbed cupcakes for Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee got a cake fetish, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know. What do they call that?
That's okay.
Oh, I forget what it's called. People who like to watch people eating. I guess it's not really weird. I mean, we watch like Man versus Food all the time, or all those cooking shows, or all those weird shows. They're always eating.
I'm gonna go over and meet Barb at Punta Gorda.
Oh yeah, you going to the conference or whatever that is down there? The
convention event.
Is that the one that's sponsored by Dan Seeley, or is he sponsoring it?
I have no clue.
Dan Seeley is the one from, I think that's his name, Dan Seeley. The Skunk Ape headquarters down in the Glades, the Everglades.
Yeah.
Oh, down there at Everglades City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Everglades City.
Yeah, he's got that
Oh,
big
yeah.
thing built in the freaking where he can go out and sit and scan everything every day.
Yeah.
See if he sees Sasquatch.
And they got a campsite right there, a big campground.
Yeah, there's something about Florida being way down in the Everglades, and it's just a different world down there when
Yeah,
you're
it is.
like down there, and everything is paths and water and trails, and it's just you really can get lost out there, and
Everything is
it's
fucking
amazing.
sand.
So
There's a lot of
Yeah.
invasive species in Florida too, man. Florida is like the Australia of the United States.
yeah, exactly.
Everything there wants to eat
The
you or kill
flaccid
you.
penis of the flaccid
Arizona's
penis
more
of,
like Australia.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like in Australia though.
Arizona,
It is like that. It is.
Everything will hurt you in Arizona.
Yeah, that's why I feel so fortunate living in New York, man.
Yeah, there's
I mean, the
nothing
biggest
up there.
freaking predator
There's
we
a
got
bear.
here is a black bear,
yeah.
Upper
and
state
maybe
New York. Yeah.
we got some cougars, at least in the Adirondacks. And I've seen cougar tracks around this area of Western New York. I think they're just passing through, and they're heading for more mountainous
I'll
area.
tell you, the woods in New York are
That's the
so
biggest thing we
thick.
got to worry about.
The woods in New York, upper state New York, are so thick. It's hard to walk in them. It's
Some
not like
places,
you can.
yeah.
Yeah, some places, right? And when I went up, I was delivering in a semi truck, and we were delivering way upstate in North. And I'm telling you, it was just so beautiful. And you go you go up about an hour straight to go upstate New York, and you're heading just straight up this mountain, and and you get to the top, and it's just amazing. I mean, you don't really realize that New York is mountainous, and it's so
Arizona.
amazing. You think buildings and shit, you think fucking Washington Bridge, but
Well, yeah, most people
Yeah,
think
but-
New York, they think city. They don't realize that there's a whole
Right.
freaking another state above you.
it's
a pretty-
amazing up there.
Pretty big
It's
state too.
amazing.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, there's 3 mountain ranges here. We got the Adirondacks, the Catskills, and the Allegheny.
Catskills. Yeah.
It's so thick, though. It's so thick that you could. To me, I could barely walk. Like when I go out in the woods in Illinois, I can walk amongst the woods, and there's not a lot of undercover brush that stops you from walking. But when I went to walk in the upper state, it was so thick, and I couldn't walk in the woods. And I was like, "Holy crap! Anything could be out here, and you would never see it because humans can't walk." It was so much, like there was so much thistle and so much briar and upper state New York that I just couldn't. I found that I couldn't just leisure out into the woods, and yeah, it was crazy.
Milton, there's no Floridians in Florida either. They're all New Yorkers.
No,
Yeah,
no,
right.
down here, they're all from New York. There's
But no, that's why, man, Scott. That's why I always carry my machete when I go out into the woods because I don't
Right.
know whether I'm going to be doing some bushwhacking. It is thick, man. And
And
I've been
you need
staring.
it, yeah.
I mean, the woods are thick in certain areas, man. And I've been in areas where I could be staring right at an animal and not even realize it's standing there.
Right.
Florida's got some thick shit too.
there was a lady.
Yeah, I know that.
There was a lady on Facebook that posted a panther on her back
Jeez.
porch this morning. It wasn't a black panther. Black panthers are small, but this thing looked almost as big as a cougar. That's how size
Really?
this panther. It was more tannish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably what it was. Probably.
That's what I think Stevie shot that day. That's
Yeah.
what she filmed. The
Well,
4-second
Steve-
film.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if Stevie wants me to say this, but boy, she told me a couple of her adventures in her life, and wow, is all I can say. Some of the-
That's scary.
Stuff.
oh, I'm sure she told you, Mo.
Oh yeah.
That's
That
scary.
was chill. That made my back chill. I mean,
Cats are
golly.
scary, man. They're sneaky and they're scary, and they
What are?
watch you. These mountain lions and these cougars and stuff, they watch you. I mean, they're very much in tune with what's going on around them.
Oh, they are
you're
sneaky.
Yeah.
You're on the dinner table, you're on the dinner. Yeah, so
But
it's scary.
That's why I didn't swim in the ocean when I was in Florida. I didn't want to be on the friggin' dinner
No.
on the menu.
The thing about a mountain lion is they always want to sneak up behind you. They're like most big cats, whereas if you're looking right directly at them,
yeah,
you're safer than if they can come up behind you.
Well, if your back
they
is
won't.
turned, yeah.
you put the glasses behind your head. I put the glasses and the hat facing backwards so they think I'm looking backwards.
But if you put Sumatra,
but if you put a camera,
above your head.
but if you put a camera over your back, you will find more stuff in the woods than if you put a camera facing forward. If you put a camera behind you, you will see more. I've learned that now I want to put a camera behind me because shit sneaks up behind you and they don't come in front of you. That's all I'm saying. They never come in front like, oh, I'm here to take a picture. No, they're behind you.
That's what I found old cell phones are good for.
Oh,
if the camera still works and you can see it, maybe whatever, you have an old phone that works, but you don't use it anymore. Use the camera. Put an SD card in there and just use the camera. Stick it in your pocket.
That's smart because it's not like a fucking trail cam. It doesn't put off that trail
no, use
cam.
an old phone. Use an old phone and just turn the camera on and throw it in your backpack with the lens sticking out. As long as it's you can still use the camera on it.
Yeah, I think that's important, because they're these foots are they know what we're doing. I mean, they're pretty smart, you know what I mean? So we can't outsmart them though. We can use their curiosity and their love for bacon. I think we could catch them by building a trailer like a semi trailer that folds in on itself, that's heavy duty, and you put bacon in there. And you just put bacon in there, and every day you're like cooking bacon on the trailer, and then you leave. And I think we could lure them in with their hunger and with our incredible fucking food. I think we could lure them in and have some kind of trap where it, like where it's a trailer and it just comes up and traps them.
I don't think that's stupid.
Bacon costs too damn much.
And they're not that stupid.
Yeah, they're not that stupid. You never catch them. You'll never catch them. You're right. I like to fantasize and think we could catch them, but you're probably right, man. Because they talk to me and they said in
Michael
my
knows
head,
how to handle it. He says, I always look a cougar right in the eyes and say, can I buy you a drink?
It's like, she's not too old for me. Cougars are good.
Wrong kind of cougar, man.
Love it. Well, you gotta love
it. They're more dangerous.
Man.
Yeah, right. They are more dangerous.
Oh, you're
but the first time I ever heard that, man, I was like, what the hell, man? When I learned about people in Sumatra wearing the masks on the back of their heads because that way the tigers wouldn't attack on the trail. I thought, what? Really? That works?
That's
mean, tiger be like, oh shit, they're still looking at me. I can't sneak up on them. And it's just a mask. I'm like, dude.
Cat's like, damn, he's good walking backwards. Holy shit.
Yeah. That's still brave as shit though, man, to me, man. Yeah. You've got to really trust that mask is going to work and fool a tiger, man.
And Mr. Lee says, can you eat cougars? Why not?
Depends if she lets you.
Yes, nice.
You're not into it. I don't know.
I want to pet it first.
You hear what you said, Joe?
Sorry, ladies.
Sorry. Totally a male
moment.
Yeah. No, wonderful though.
Said that out loud,
it's
too,
wonderful. Wonderful. It's magical. It's what keeps me going.
Miss Dill
it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to be, it's amazing to be on this show today and to be able to talk about this. And I think it's really amazing for us, and we're brave souls, man, because we talk about the things that that are hard to talk about. And I think it's awesome, man. I just want to say thanks a lot, guys, and you
Oh,
guys
my pleasure.
really
Thanks for coming on,
are.
Scotty.
This is
Yeah, man.
amazing show. I have amazing time. I'm so glad I found you guys. I don't watch a lot of videos, but this is just it's just because I feel like you guys are like family, and like I love Jay and I love your stories, and you joke around, but you're serious, and it's not all joking, but it's real, and so I just want to say that it's amazing to me, and that's the only reason I jumped on was because I love Mogs, and you're amazing guy, and you have the
Thank you.
fucking tubes, dude. You have the voice, and you have the whole, and you have the whole package, and dude, it's just been fucking amazing. So I just want to say thanks a lot for
Thank you.
doing this every week. It's a big deal to me, it really is, and
I'm
I just
glad.
want to say
I'm glad
thanks.
that it
And I love
has
you guys so
such a
much, man.
positive
You'll never know. You'll never
effect.
know.
We love you too.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
And I love Jay's stories, man. Jay's the fucking coolest because he's a real dude. You know what I mean? You guys are real dudes, man. You know what I mean? Joe and everybody, you guys are real guys. It's not fake fucking bullshit. This is, it's just real experiences. And I believe it means something to us in this world to have these experiences, because I think so many people are just not looking at anything in our world. And it takes people like us that are, looking and experiencing these things to know something is going on. Something is different going on from our history. And, something's going on in our world. And it's just not real. It's more talked about now, but,
Because it can be. I mean, there's
Yeah.
an avenue for people to talk about it.
Right.
Now you can compare notes with the guy in Australia, or the guy in Russia, or the guy in China. I mean, you can compare notes,
That's amazing.
provided you speak Russian and Chinese. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The internet has given us that ability to converse like this.
I mean,
So that's awesome.
anytime you see a creature that is so big, the thing I saw was so big. Its chest was so big. It was sitting over me, and its chest was just like the size of a Volkswagen. And when you see a creature that's so huge, you just can't go back to like everything's normal, everything's fine. When you see these things, it's like you just have to notice that something's going on in our world. And I don't know, should we talk about it? Should we not? Should we ignore it? But it's in our woods, in all the cities around, all the places that I've known, Ohio and Pittsburgh and Florida and Chicago and New York, and every city has these things around them. I find that very amazing that, that there's a resident Bigfoot in every section of the country. It's
Jay,
just
what
weird.
was it that triggered you to tell your story? Like, where did you just stumbled on YouTube, or did you look something up?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, your name's Jay.
I guess I'm only Jay in here, right?
Well, there's a Joe, but yeah.
I'm smoking a Jay.
When my wife passed away,
That reminded me.
when my wife, I didn't hardly get on. I didn't even know what YouTube was or anything, and I read a lot. I used to read a lot, and when my wife passed away, I had to have something to occupy my time, So she had her iPad, and I just got on. I didn't even get on the computer, and I got her iPad, and I love golf. You guys know that, and I was watching golf things on YouTube, golf shows, and I was just going through the list, and I saw a Bigfoot thing, so I just punched on it, you know.
Huh.
And it was more like like a somebody, one of these where they seen it, or you know, I got pictures of it, and you know, stuff like that. It wasn't one of these. It wasn't one of these chat forums like we're in right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed, I think it was Bigfoot Odyssey, Terriers. I went on his show. I didn't go on his show, but I just kind of was listening to him and stuff like that, and just fumbling around. And I think
Discovered
I went on
more and more.
I went on Pat. I didn't go on. I saw Pat's show. I went on Pat, listened to Pat, and then I started going to Joe's show. I really liked Joe's show a lot.
Yeah.
And then I wandered over to your show, Moggs. And then just listening to these folks, that's where and all this has happened within the last 2 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to my mind, I said, these people are getting a lot out of this, you know. I'm thinking people are telling them what happened to them, you know.
It's therapeutic.
And they're talking about their experiences and stuff like that. And maybe I ought to get up there and tell them what the frig happened to me. You know, I said, maybe it'll help me and help somebody else too, you know.
It's tough.
I think
Joe
show's the first one I ever did it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, look, you know, and that makes me feel so good, Jay, because if anything that I ever said or did, or the fact that I had this show and then you felt like you could come on and finally talk about it, man, that really does me some good, man. It really makes me feel good because, look, I'll tell you right now, if you are the only person that I ever affect that way, it's made everything I've done so far with all of this worth it.
Right. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it kind of vindicates what you've seen, because even when I seen it as it was walking away, I was like, nobody's gonna believe me, and will I believe myself in a week from now, a month from now? Will I believe that I saw this? And I even questioned myself.
Believe this.
I questioned myself the whole time when I was looking at it.
That's where I'm different, Scotty. I never questioned myself. I know what I saw.
Wow.
I don't know what it was called at the time, but I know what the frig I saw.
I didn't.
I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Yeah.
That thing was standing 15 to 20 feet in front of me. I saw it. I looked right at that damn thing.
Jeez.
I know I saw it. It wasn't.
You looked in the eyes.
It was running sideways. It wasn't face on. It was running sideways from me.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help you.
And I saw that thing. I saw the goddamn thing. I'm sorry.
I saw it too. I was about 20 feet away and I saw it, and it was huge, man. It was fucking huge. But I was like, oh my God. I was like, this ain't real. I sat and told myself, this ain't real. I'm crazy. I'm seeing something. What am I seeing? I was talking to myself out loud the whole time. I was seeing this thing, like nobody's ever going to believe me. And I'm not going to believe myself when this thing goes away. I'm like, holy fuck, it's huge. And I was like pointing out all the crazy things that I was seeing to myself. And then when it's over, you're kind of like, what happened? What just happened? You're like, what just happened to me? And so, but then I had because I was in a truck, I was in a semi, and it was a place where this Bigfoot had come every night to watch the truckers. And when I went in and asked the people inside that I was offloading for, they were like, oh yeah, there's a creature that sits out there every night and watches the truckers, and we think it's a Bigfoot. And I was like, really? And I was like, really? This is really something? I'm like, really? And all I kept saying to the person was, really? And they're like, yeah, it's a Bigfoot, and it lives in the mountains over there, and it comes down when it sees the truckers here at night because it thinks it's going to get a fucking snack from them or something.
Where was this?
Really, You know, it's like, I'm like, really? It's crazy. But I saw it. It was real. And,
from the time I saw that thing in 1966, I'd never seen the Patterson-Gimlin film to 2002. That's the first time I ever saw that.
Jeez.
But the time in between there, I never brought it up to nobody. My mother and my best friend, I told him about it, and that was the only two people that knew about it. I never brought it up. I just didn't.
Right.
These people going to think I'm crazy. I'm just not going to bring this up to nobody. I said, I think people are going to think I'm friggin' nuts, you know.
But even before 2000, like they were using Bigfoot for advertising, you know.
Right.
So it was out there, but you never.
Right. It was out there. I just didn't pay no attention to it.
You never
I had other things going on in my life, you know.
Well, sure.
I didn't watch TV or anything like that. I was always active and I might watch an hour of TV, you know.
Well, it just seems odd that you weren't exposed to that until you saw.
Well, I kind of got whims of it, and maybe 75 or 6, I maybe heard a story about something like that. I can't recall everything, but I started getting.
I get it.
You know, I started hearing more about that type of creature. And then I started putting 2 and 2 together. So 2 and 2 together. And then that's when I watched the 2002. I said, maybe I ought to watch that damn film, you know. And when I saw that thing on there, I said, face-wise, it didn't have that heavy brow. The hair over its brow down here, it was more long hair like you are. Like the one Joe's got a picture of. It didn't have that heavy brow line, and its jaw was longer, and it had that flattish nose and that. I've told I know you guys get tired of me saying this, but I can never forget that thing's ear. That sunlight hit on that ear, and oh my God,
that's crazy.
And but
and that's when you ain't seeing no hair, because you're like, that looks like a human ear.
It did. It was exactly like my goddamn ear. I'm sorry. I know Sandra's getting mad at me for cussing. I try not to.
I never saw the face. Because it was so dark, and I just saw the outline. I never saw the actual face. So to see the face of these things, I'm sure it sends you into another zone.
Well, I didn't see the face. You got a man right below you that looked one eye to eye. So
that's crazy. It's got to be insane.
But look, man, that's the same way, Jay. I was like that for me too, man. I understand. A lot of people are like that. The first thing you're like, nobody's gonna believe me. Nobody's gonna believe me.
I have a question for you guys.
And it's the same thing that happened to me, man. When I saw it that day, I wanted to tell somebody, man. I wanted to tell everybody, but I was like, nobody's gonna believe me.
For you guys,
they're just gonna think I'm making it up so that I can get people to come to my channel or something. Nobody's gonna believe this. Yeah. And I waited, man. I didn't even tell my wife for a while, man. And then I told my wife, and she was like, "That's nice, honey." I'm like, "You don't believe me, do you?" And she said, "Well, I believe that you believe that you saw a Bigfoot." So yeah, I mean,
the three of you have had encounters. Okay.
That's cool. Your wife was cool, though, man.
Do you think I'm crazy for wanting to have an encounter?
No, I don't think you're crazy for wanting.
No, not at all.
Just be prepared not to be prepared.
Oh, no.
That's what I always say. Just be prepared. Be prepared. It changes. I don't know. It changes something. Joe, it changes something in you, don't it, Joe?
Oh, it definitely does.
I don't know how to explain it.
It'll blow your mind, dude. It will blow your mind.
But it'll never happen if you plan it and you go out there and you plan to see it and you go out there. I've never gone out to see it, but whenever I'm out in the woods and I'm not paying attention, that's when I see it. When that moment in time that you look away and you're not paying attention, that's when it hits you. It's like the Bigfoot knows when you're most vulnerable and not paying attention, and then they show up and you're like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like you hear it story after story, like people see it, but they're like, what?
My roommate actually said it wasn't what he was expecting. I was like, what were you expecting?
Exactly. And I understand exactly what he meant.
Yeah.
Something from a movie. You know, I'm like, well,
I know exactly what he meant. Because what I saw was not what I expected to see.
Yeah, I mean, believing in Bigfoot, it wasn't what he was expecting to see, and that's exactly it. He was just like,
I wasn't either. No, I fully understand where he's coming from.
Well, I'm gonna say, I'm like Scotty. The size of that thing's chest was ungodly. It was just,
like a Volkswagen,
oh my
like
God.
a fucking Volkswagen with a goddamn head on it, like a Volkswagen with arms and a head on it. It was literally like a car. It was so thick and so huge and so big and over me. And I was like, this can't be real. And I was like, I just better shut up because the thing cast a shadow, man, in the dark. How the fuck does a thing cast a shadow when you're, sorry swearing, but how does a thing cast a shadow when you're in the dark? But it did. And you know, if the thing casts a shadow in the pitch black, you're like, oh my God, that thing is crazy. You know, it's like, whoa, that was a real thing.
everybody handles it differently. I know.
Yeah. But for all those people that want to see one, man, I fervently hope that they get to see one. I mean, it took 44 years.
Anybody, I just want to know for myself.
Right.
Want it. That's one thing that the only true way to believe in it is to see it, and then be a know. That's it.
But I would hope you would see it with somebody else around. Because it's different
or whatever.
When there's two people around. It's different than when you're alone. If you have a person next to you to say, "Hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" That's the when I saw UFOs, when I saw the gargoyle, when I saw the things I saw, other people were sitting there. When I saw the UFOs, there were people sitting there like going, "Yeah, we're seeing what you're seeing." And that's a huge deal. When you're alone, you have nobody to bounce that off of.
No, I agree, because every experience I've had in the paranormal or really fucked up experiences like that, there have been witnesses. My sister, a bartender.
That's huge.
There's always been witnesses.
It's a big deal.
Somebody said something about it, what they felt right after they saw it. After the shock of seeing it, and it got quiet in the woods, I went into survival mode after that. I said, I gotta get out of these damn woods somehow, you know. I went in direct survival mode, and all I could think of was, how am I gonna get out of these friggin' woods without that thing noticing me, you know?
Yeah, I never thought of that, Jay. How did you get out?
Well, I went the opposite direction. When he came by me, he was running in the direction I came into the woods. So I knew I couldn't go back that way. So I went up around the wood line.
He was running. See, mine wasn't running. Mine wasn't moving.
Well, mine was in a full sprint. Mine was in a full sprint when it came by.
Holy shit.
Scotty, where did your encounter happen?
Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee, and then I had one happen here in Illinois. Tennessee was the one when I was in the truck and I saw it, and I saw the eyes glowing, and I thought it was an owl in the tree. And then later on, I went over and looked at it, and there was no branch. And that's when I went inside, and I was like, what was that looking at me? And there's like, oh yeah, it's a Bigfoot. And they were like, it's a resident Bigfoot that just, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, I didn't believe it at the time. I was like, nah. But then I went and looked at the footprints in the grass, and the footprints, I stomped my feet next to the footprints and could not leave a mark in the grass. And so this thing had to be 2,000 pounds to leave this kind of mark with these huge feet, man. Like, and I was like, okay. That's when I became a believer, when I saw the footprints and I couldn't, and I was jumping next to it with my heels, trying to, you know what I mean? Trying to leave a footprint. I'm like, what could, and I'm like, okay, something super heavy was here, and it wasn't a fucking owl like I thought it was an owl. So yeah.
Hitchhike to the lake. I like that. I like that phrase. Hitchhike to the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Rasta, I think Rasta, I mean, I'm never going to be like the guy at the carnival that can guess your weight. But I would say Rasta was, I don't know, somewhere between probably what, 600 to 800 pounds, probably.
Yeah, that's about what I.
It's still big, man. That's still big. That's huge. Way huger than me.
Yeah.
But I kind of double the weight. When somebody says, oh, it probably was 800 pounds, I'm like,
I think
no,
people underestimate.
It was probably like 1,600 pounds because these things, because animals have such thicker muscle than we have and thicker bone and stronger. And it's like, if this Bigfoot is really this strong and amazing, it's probably over 1,000 pounds, I'm sure. If it's 18, you know, if it's fucking 16 foot tall or whatever.
I think that might be a bit much, 1,600 to 2,000, but I do think.
Okay, but 1,000 pounds or whatever, it's more than what people are like, oh, it's 400 pounds. I'm like, really? I'm like, I'm almost 400 pounds. No,
yeah, Ross had to be.
I think
6 to 8, I think. But I mean, he could have weighed more than that. But to me, as big as he was and stuff, I mean, I'd have to give him at least 800 pounds. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Maybe he weighed more.
I mean,
I'm trying to judge about his size.
Right.
And body mass and stuff, and I'm no expert in that kind of shit, right?
I mean, front to
how
back.
Tall he was, so I'm figuring, you know, that's how I figured 600 to 800. You know, maybe he's a little.
But I figure if you look at a bison or something that's huge like that, a moose, the bones are so heavy, the muscle is so. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to look at animals that have this girth and kind of times it, you know, by what I've seen and what people have seen. And I'm just saying, I think they're a little heavier than we think. I think they have a lot more muscle and girth. And they're not paranormal. They're not like a woo. They're just an amazing creature. They're amazing people that have chosen to be in the woods, other than we've chosen to be in houses, and you know, and they've chosen to be in the woods, and we've chosen technology. They chose, you know, third eye or whatever, or paranormal, or to see and hear things like animals do. They chose that. I'm just saying, if they are people, they went one way, we went the other. That's all.
You said that earlier, but I don't know. I don't know that they went any other way. It was the only way they knew. Right. You know, we evolved.
Well, what other way is there? What other way is there if you don't live in houses? You live in the woods. You live in the woods. You live with the animals. You live with you're in tune with what's going on in the woods. You're not like going to Walmart and shit. You're more in tune with.
Hey, What's Mobs, up, Jay? Mobs, I'm gonna go fix me another tidy and go sit and chat. Okay. Y'all have a great night. Okay.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and I'm so glad you got that closure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm glad it's over with. I really am. And I want to thank everybody. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Thank you, man.
Man, he's got the biggest chair. He's got the biggest comfortable chair.
That's cool. It makes you feel good when you hear stuff like that, man.
Yeah, it does.
Makes you feel like everything is worth it, man. If you can get just one testimonial like that, man, it makes everything worth it.
No, there's a reason. There's a reason.
It's I didn't realize that was a. When I started this channel, I didn't know that, figured out people tell the stories, but I didn't think ahead about what it did for the person who told the story.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I never considered that until it started,
Well,
happening. And
obviously,
I'm
Jay
listening
Jay is
and
really moved by it. You know, Jay is really moved by his story and everything and what happened to him. You know, I'm not so much moved that way to where I'm freaked out. I'm more freaked out that people don't know about it. I'm more freaked out that I'm the only one and you guys are the only ones that really know. I'm more freaked out that these things only show themselves to certain people. It doesn't freak me out that I'm one of them, but I'm like, overall, I'm like, what is the end game of these Bigfoots if they're a breeding population with children and they're surrounding all the large cities in our world? It's like, what is the end game of these things? You know what I mean? I'm like thinking, is there,
why do you say they're surrounding the cities? They're just
because they're in Chicago and they're in Pittsburgh. I've seen them in Pittsburgh. I mean, everybody that has attested to these things say they're around the cities, they're in the woods, they're in the rivers, they're in the woods surrounding the big cities. And I'm just wondering, you know,
I don't think there's any plan. They're
I'm just
conspiring to
wondering.
take
I'm
over
just
these
taking it
cities
to the
or
next level. I'm just taking it and wondering to the next level, like, what are these things? And if they're in it, if they're just natural, then it's fine. If they're just an animal, it's not a big deal. But if
we're
it's
just
not
animals.
an animal, if it's more than an animal, then you got to ask, why is it surrounding all these cities, and why is it hanging out in the woods, and why does it only show itself to certain
Do you
people?
ever
It's very
think that
interesting.
maybe the fact that they were there first and we're encroaching on them, our big cities are
Yes,
pushing out and moving
yes,
into their land?
yes,
You know,
yes, yes. You're right. It is possible that that is the case. They're just a people, or they're an animal, or whatever, but they were there first. And when we come into their territory, it's obvious that we're
see,
not
Lockyer just said the same
yeah.
exact thing. Scotty, it was all wilderness, and we came and built cities in their wilderness.
That's right.
Right. You're
Exactly
right.
what he
If
just said.
there's
Right.
any plan, the plan is stay the hell away from us.
Exactly. You know what? Some of them are probably opportunistic, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Benefit. They,
Yeah.
I don't feel like hunting a deer today. Let me go dumpster dive.
Well, they might grab a dog or something, or they might grab a cat or something, or who knows, around people that, it's, if they are eating and have to eat every day, then that's a big deal, and
They're
that's
like
a
Dollar
game
General.
changer.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, and they're
Well,
gonna be.
Muggs, that's like that farmer I talked about, man. That told me about how he actually started putting corn out for them so they'd stop coming in and wrecking his cornfield.
A lot of people grow the garden for the Bigfoot.
Exactly.
They grow the garden for the
I was just going to say
Bigfoot
that.
on the outers. Then they grow the garden for themselves. Absolutely, I've heard that so many times. And it's just like, we grow this for the people in the woods, and I'm like, people in the woods, and it's a real thing. So it's a way to deal with them, and I believe,
so they don't mess up your garden. You give them their own.
That's it.
I just don't think that they hate us. They don't, they're not trying to eat us and trying to hate us, but like any other human or anything, you could run into a guy who's had a bad day, and you run into Bigfoot that had a
there's
bad
a lot
day.
of asshole Sasquatch out there too.
Yeah, so I just believe, right now is the greatest time for us, because
I always advise caution.
Yeah, but I believe that the Bigfoot knows, it knows the people that are in tune with it, and it shows itself to us, to the people who, I don't know. I just
do that to me,
could be more. They know intent, like my dog does. My dog knows if you're a good person or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, they probably pick that up. They know your intent. If they know you're a bad person, they're not going to show themselves. You might think you're the best person in the world, but
It's really
They don't.
weird.
In my situation, man, I don't think he was expecting to see me, and I sure as hell wasn't expecting to see him.
I think most of them are those you're both shocked. It wasn't like, he's sitting
Yeah.
there watching you and
It's always a surprise. It's never
Well,
like,
the thing is,
oh,
yeah.
once I was close enough, and I came, I'm an old fat guy, dude. When I go walk through the woods, man, I make a lot of noise, dude.
we make a lot of noise. You're right.
So I know he heard me coming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know he heard me coming.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because I'm like, dude, I wish I could get into his head, man, because I'm wondering what he was thinking. Here I come crashing through the woods. He's like, oh,
all it has to do is just hide.
You know what? I like
it.
to think this is my fantasy modes. Is that day he heard me crashing through and he knew who I was because I go out there all the time and he might have been out there before. This is my fantasy. He's probably like, oh shit,
I've heard this fantasy before.
Dude. Now what? Here comes that dude. He's gonna fuck up my day. And sure enough, I did.
Well, you could have messed up his hunting. You could have messed up his fishing.
I have no idea, right?
You could have messed up his hunting, man. You know what I mean?
I scared up a deer, man. It was sitting right in front of me, man.
Yeah, I think we do. Because I've had deers run up to me and nuzzle up against me like all afraid of shit, and I'm like looking around like, why is this deer like nuzzling up to me? Like,
were you hunting at the time?
No, I was just walking through the woods, and the deer's like panicked, and they saw me and they ran up against me, and they're like fucking hanging out with me. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is weird. Deers don't hang out with people. It's like, why are these deers hanging? Well, they're afraid of something. Obviously, they're afraid of something.
Well, there's a lot of stories out there.
Could have been a cougar. Could have been a cougar. Could have been a fox. Could have been a wolf. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories of deer like running underneath and laying down beneath a tree stand that a guy's in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Something was chasing them, and
hey.
But what could make a deer so afraid? I never seen a deer afraid of an animal. Predator.
Maybe that buck that I thought was trying to gore me, maybe he just wanted to snuggle.
Nah, he was trying to fuck you up.
I think he was.
You liked your jeans. You liked your fucking lead jeans or something, He wanted to snuggle up against your Levi's. I don't know.
All right. That just got weird.
but no, that I've seen the breaks in the woods, and I've seen the difference between trees that are broken from wind or storms, and then you see a tree that's broken and it's surrounded by other trees that are not broken, and you're like, that's weird. You're like, that tree was snapped, and you're like, the tree is pretty fat, and what could snap that tree in the middle of all these other trees? And there's no bark torn off. And I've recorded that so many times. It's just like, you're just like, like it can't just be nature. Nature doesn't do that to trees. So
what's up, Kim? No, but nature doesn't bend a tree over and put another tree on top of it. To pin it down,
right?
Make a bow, an arch.
But I'm saying there are obvious differences between the ones that you could see that have, been through a storm or have been through lightning or whatever, and then you could see the ones that you're like, wait a minute, this thing is broken. There's no evidence of any storm or any. It's like all these trees are surrounding it, and how did this thing get broken in the middle of these trees? And I've seen that so many times, and you're like, after a while, it just becomes natural, and I don't even notice them. But when I do notice them, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of broken trees in this woods, and half of them are broken normal, and half of them are broken in a weird way. And it's like, it's like so much evidence, and you just don't need to be convinced anymore. But I'm like, why are these things in the woods outside of Chicago, right on the suburbs? Why would they be hanging out because there's dogs and there's food and there's deers and there's chipmunks, and there's everything, you know, that you
Good
can
night, Miss
want.
Dill.
Cats and dogs and everything, you know, humans and garbage, and you know what I mean? And it's like, why wouldn't they be in the city? You know, why wouldn't they be in the woods around the cities? Because if they are eating, if they need to eat every day, that's why they're hanging around people, because we're sloppy. We leave a lot of, you know, we got chickens, we got, you know, all sorts of stuff for them to eat, and that's what's going on. I just believe that that's what we're seeing. You know, we're seeing they're surrounding our cities. It's weird.
Like
They're
I
not.
said, I just think they're opportunistic. I don't think they're surrounding us. Like, you know, they're there. I think, you know, I think they're in places that people don't realize or don't expect them to be.
Yeah.
They're not. You know, I'm sure they're deep in the forest as well. But there are some, I'm sure, that are out.
Yeah, I just think that they're opportunistic and they hang around people because we leave a lot of scraps around, and we leave a lot of, you know, we leave a lot for them to clean up.
Wasteful species.
Yeah, we are. I mean, you know, and I do believe that the dogs
Christy.
and the cats that are disappearing in our neighborhood here.
That's a Chinese restaurant down the street. That has nothing to do with Bigfoot.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe they're in a wonton soup, but you know, I don't know. But yeah, it's very curious to me when, you know, overall, because I've talked to the rangers in the woods here, and I've talked to many of them and asked them point blank questions, you know, to this, and they can't answer, you know, they can't answer a simple answer like outside of, you know, what we're talking about. So, you know, if the rangers are kind of like, I don't want to talk about that. And you're like, wait a minute. You're like,
no, I would point out. I
would point out the skeleton of a deer, and the backbone was pulled out of the meat from a skeleton from the deer, and it's like, how does a backbone get pulled from the meat? You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. Or you see a broken leg from a deer. You'll see a dead deer and you'll see its leg is broken in half, and it's like, who could break a thigh bone of a deer? You know what I mean? Stuff like that over and over.
Too many dead deer in the woods.
I've seen so many, and
I've seen some, but
cars can break a deer's leg.
It's constant. It's constant here. You see a lot of the deer bone stripped from the meat, like it's white and clear, and like, you know, just like the bones only just sitting there. And it's like, what could
the skeleton?
Yeah. And it's like, you're like, oh, well, maybe it sat here for years, but no, it's in places where they didn't sit for years. It's fresh. You know what I mean? It's like, and then the county comes along and cleans it up later. They don't.
Well, you know what? I don't know how you guys feel about this new show, Expedition Bigfoot. I think it's a lot better than the other one, that Finding Bigfoot. But recently, the last show I just saw, they did, or the second to last show, they found a boneyard, a killing field, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's crazy.
I've heard many stories about these. I mean, Debbie Jones, when they were camping, they found a boneyard.
Yeah.
It got cleaned up, but
right.
I haven't really been watching it myself. I mean,
TV
shows are TV shows, and I get it. And,
these guys do it a little bit different, a little bit more researchy, and instead of, you know, they're not. They'll record a sound in the woods, and then turn around and call blast it. They're not bringing in outside sounds. You know, they did the other night. They recorded these two yells that were just weird as fuck.
Yeah,
and they turned around and call blasted them. You know, and tried to get some responses.
Well, when I was in Boy Scouts and we were up in Wisconsin, we would hear those yells that were like, you know what I mean? Those screams, those long yells that sounded like a human. And we'd be like, There's nobody around here. We're Boy Scouts in the middle of nowhere. Who the hell is screaming like that for hours? Just going on, screaming that where we can't scream like that. We don't have the lung capacity to scream like that and to have that echo in the woods and the feeling. And you're like, you just feel that it's something crazy. It's not a wolf, it's not a fox, it's not an animal, it's something crazy screaming that is so loud, so it penetrates the very soul of you when you're sitting there and you're like, no animal has ever done that. You're like, I've been out in the woods my whole life and no animal screams like that. And then all of a sudden you get this and you're like, holy crap. You're like, that's weird. That's not normal.
So Donald, it's entertainment television. I don't watch much television, and I just happen to turn it on. So to me, it's more entertaining than, it's more realistic. I think, maybe they might set some things up, whatever. But where they are, they're in some remote shit. So
yeah,
it's not like they're just going to some town meeting and investigating other people's reports like some other show.
Oh yeah.
These guys are out there. I don't give a shit, the politics of Russell Accord or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, show.
Me neither. Hey, you said you want some stories. I'm going to tell you a story and a joke, and then I'm going to pop into chat.
Yeah, well, I'm going to end this soon too. Anyway,
I may have already told you this before, but talking about weird shit. When I was in the Navy, our submarine had a sonar contact. Now, this sonar contact was a large contact. It wasn't another submarine. It wasn't a whale. It wasn't anything like, shark or anything big like an animal, big ocean animal. And this thing was moving, and it was fast, dude. And
that's crazy.
To this day, I still don't know what this thing was. And it did not get officially logged.
Wow.
Labeled as secret.
Yeah.
And then
that didn't just happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who knows what it was. Okay, the joke. Why do cats make bad DJs?
Something about scratching. What?
Because they like to use paws a lot. Bada boom.
Guys, I am going to end this.
Great chat with you, man.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Joe, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Scotty.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you guys are great, man. Thank you so much.
I don't know if I did that or if you did that.
It's been awesome to hang out with you, Mo.
Right on, man. Awesome. Well, it's awesome having you.
Love the pipes, dude. I love your voice, man. When you do that intro, the first fucking words that come out of your mouth on the intro is so amazing. Dude, you got the pipes, dude. It's fucking awesome, man. I love it.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's great, dude. I'm serious because I got the pipes too. I got the voice too. I'm 6'1" and I'm a big guy, so I got huge lungs, but you just got that sound though. That's just fucking awesome. You should be doing voiceovers, bro. Honestly, man.
I have a project I have to get to. I haven't been avoiding it. I just haven't had time to do it.
No, I know, but I'm so excited to see what you're gonna do with the voiceover because I just imagine like this really cool, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited, man, about that because well,
thank you.
It's been awesome, man, and I love the background you got going there.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really
all
cool.
All right, Scotty. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and sharing your stories.
Yeah, I hope you have a great night, man. Yeah, it's been awesome.
All right, dude. I'm going to throw you backstage. You can click off if you want, but I'm going to say goodnight to everybody in chat.
Yeah.
Thanks again, dude. I'll talk to you soon. Good night. Well, that was fun. Mogs, I got a question for you. Can I DM dude, fucking if we're friends on Facebook, get in touch with me. Donald. You have my email address. If not, here. monstermogion@gmail.com. You can get in touch with me there. Oh, let me get rid of that. Oh, don't hit that button. I almost ended it prematurely. All right, guys. I hope you had a good time tonight. Hope everybody, enjoyed it. We had a good turnout tonight. So thank you. Thank you very much. If you like the show, do me a favor, hit that like button below. Share. If you're new, subscribe and hit that notification so you'll know every time we go live or if I put shorts out. That's been a while. If you want to donate to the channel, you can do so in the description below. I will put the PayPal link there, and also it's on the page in the banner in the lower right-hand corner. And all donations, if you want to leave your address in the notes, I'll send you a bandana. I don't have any. They weren't printed up or anything, but I can draw, I can sign, I can, whatever. We'll figure it out. Dude, if you go to my channel and go to about, it should say, or up in the banner, it should have a Facebook link. If you click it there, should take you to it. And the name's Russell. So you'll figure it out. It's there. Should be. If not, oops. All right, guys. I will see you. Check out Duke's shit. I forgot what show. Duke's on somebody else's show tomorrow night, and I was gonna give that a promotion. I forgot who the hell it was. Damn it. Anyway. All right, guys. I'll see you in 2 days. Probably tomorrow night somewhere. Thank you, and peace and God bless.